Okay, fine, sir. We'll start right now and let other participants to join. Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to the webinar by Agriculture Skill Council of India on the topic Trends and Dynamics in the Indian Seeds Market. The webinar is being conducted as a part of Azadi Ka Mahotsav, an initiative by Government of India to commemorate the 75 glorious years of independent India. This is the 14th webinar in the series and the first in this new year. On behalf of ASCII, I welcome all the participants and our eminent speakers, wishing you all a very healthy and a promising year. Seeds, as we know, is the most critical input for the productive agriculture. The role of seed sector has been substantial in the significant advances made in agriculture in the last 4 decades and will continue to be a vital one for decades to come. In India, agriculture is the dominant occupation which secures abundant opportunities for the seeds market in the region. The active participation of both public and the private sector, supplemented by the progressive policies by the government, has led India emerge as the 5th largest seed market across the globe. To get the industry insights, we have got distinguished speakers from the industry, Dr. Kalyan Goswami, Dr. L.K. Pandey, and Mr. Asim Sharma. Before I introduce the speakers to all, I would emphasize that this is an excellent opportunity for the students to interact with the industry, and therefore would request you all to take full advantage of this interface and post your queries or questions. The Q&A session will be kept at the end after the presentation from the speakers, and the participants are requested to type their questions in the chat box. Our first speaker is Dr. Kalyan Goswami. Dr. Goswami is an eminent policy person who has worked for more than 29 years in the field of agriculture, chemical, health, and food processing. Earlier, he has worked as the Director General in National Seeds Association of India and Secretary General in All India Food Processors Association. He is credited with several publications in national and international journals and magazines, and he has got his higher degrees from Jawaharlal Nehru University and Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. So over to you, Dr. Goswami.
Can you please share the presentation?
Sure, sir. Give me a moment.
Yeah. Could you do it, or I should try?
Sure, sir. Just give me a moment, sir.
Sure, sure.
Is it visible?
To me, no. It has come now.
Okay.
Go to the presentation mode. Yeah. It is. I think it is visible, Dr. Pandey.
Yes, is it visible to everybody?
Yeah, it's okay, sir.
Yeah. Many thanks, Priyanka, for inviting me to speak this, round table. Seed is the basic input of agriculture. Everything starts with seed only. Down the line, I would also request you to, if you have not done, I don't know, please, do such type of program on other agriculture inputs. Coming back to my presentation, I'll only talk on the organized, seed sector. There is parallel organized and unorganized seed sector. So here my presentation will be 100% on the organized, because unorganized, we don't have much data. Next slide.
Give me a moment, sir. I think there's some issue.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
As you know, as we told, that seed is the primary input in agriculture, which encapsulates the genetics of plant varieties. So ultimately, plant variety is the ultimate in seed industry. Seeds of suitable varieties are evaluated. I'm saying all the basic thing, and because I understand there are a number of students, so that it is meant for them only.
Yes,
Seeds
sir.
of suitable varieties are evaluated for their suitability for specific agroclimatic condition before commercialization, then multiplied through standard seed production process. Next. Again, the organized seed sector is, around 22,000 crore at this point of time. And in that, the hybrid seed industry is estimated at rupees 10,000 crores. GM seed market, I'm talking about GM seed market, it is predominantly BT cotton. Not predominantly, it is 100% BT cotton. GM seed market is nearly 16% of the total seed market and 35% of the hybrid seed market. It is phenomenal. The global seed industry market size as per the OECD report is around 52 billion US dollar. So looking at that, India would be at 5th largest globally at this point of time, and it is growing. However, the export volume is negligible from India, but having a huge potential to become a global seed hub. The next one. Here is the, the data. The largest, hybrid seed is, the cotton, which is 3,650. Again, I have not considered the HTBT as because that is illegal. So keeping it apart, but to my understanding, HTBT is also now 35% of the total, BT cotton market, which I have not considered here. So cotton is something 3,650. And the second one is, vegetable seed, which is 2,600 crore. And the maize is 1,800 crore. Total is 10,000 crore. Next better. See, I told that, the globe in the global seed export, India, figures out no hand now. It is only 900 crore, and we need to work on that. And there's a huge opportunities. I'll come to that in my next slides. Next, please. I wanted to give a the global seed import status also. Like India imports something around US dollar 137 million, which is around 900 CR. Especially full season vegetable, forage, grasses, etc. The biggest importer in the world, beta usi mein chale jao. The biggest importer in the world is Netherlands, which they import almost 13 billion US dollar, and then USA, which is 1.09 US dollar, and blah blah. You can see the data from here. Next. Now, how to make? See, at this point of time, the total Indian seed market, the organized is 22,000 crore. Government is trying to organize the unorganized sector, but it seems very difficult, So there is an opportunity, like agrochemical. You might be knowing that agrochemical, the export has become like the domestic requirement. It's a huge one, almost 45,000 crore export, and the Indian market is 45,000 crore. Same like in pharmaceutical, the export is 3 times than the Indian domestic market. So there's a huge potential in the export market, but there need to be some initiatives to be taken. Firstly, we need to have innovative technologies. Uh, Secondly, creation of Seed Export Council, and I understand that like National Seed Association, then APIDA, then FSSI, they are working to create a Seed Export Council. It's on the way. Risk management, like which is very much important. Like if someone is investing somewhere, that has to be protected also. Like the third one is setting up seed quality laboratory in every region in India. Next one. Strategy to boost seed exports in the international market. To align with the Make in India theme, like which can be applied to vegetables and maize seeds that do not as much restricted as like cereal crops. More government allocation may give a better impetus to seed sector growth. Government is already focusing on that, but we need much more as such. Globalizing Indian seed companies, where Indian companies may enter into joint venture, partnership, organic expansion route to tap markets beyond fulfilling the domestic requirement. This way, seed companies of Indian origin take up the role of multinational companies, because you all know that multinational companies, they have originated in Germany, they have originated in different part of Europe or US. They're doing very good business in India. So why not the Indian company do the same in other companies? At least like the growing market. I'm not saying the developed market. I'm saying the growing market. Implementation of Export Policy 2018, which states that central government to constitute a corpus which will act as a matching fund for importing germplasm and seed varieties for research and development in India. Then giving incentive for the export, which has been done in the pharmaceutical sector. Next. The biggest challenge I find, like is that intellectual property right. Definitely, there's going to be a challenge, like so we need to understand how to mitigate that and how to give like protection to the plant varieties. Again, coming back, I think we need to strengthen the PPVA for Plant Protection and Variety and Farmer Rights Organization. Then the current process of material transfer, germplasm conservation, phytosanitary process are really very much complicated. That need to be worked out, and like to form export cluster in this country, and we need to increase the like funding in the research and development, like the multinational organization, they invest a lot of monies in research and development. The time has come when the Indian organization also should invest in R&D, looking for the future, like looking for the future business potential. Then upgrading the cold chain and cold storage infrastructure and seed processing units, and definitely digital technology for quality products and reducing the cost of production. Next. The next one. बेटा एक मिस हो गया. Go back.
Yeah.
Go back. You have missed one slide.
Yes, sir. Just give me a moment, sir.
No, ठीक है, no problem.
I think this.
No. हाँ, ये वाला. See, practically, India may facilitate the seed production hub for many countries due to presence of different climatic zones. We have several climatic zones. Dr. Pandey can, give his inputs later. I think we have around 14 different climatic zones. Uh, Climatic condition of India is very much suitable for almost all the crops. And labor cost is also cheaper in India. The fast growing Indian market remains attractive for world investors, given the vast opportunities available. Next, now potential crops for seed export. The first one is, maize. South Asian countries import their maize seed requirement from other countries due to lack of quality seed production. Thus, India can produce assured quality hybrid and non-hybrid maize seed to cater to foreign demand. That's number one. Number two, I find the cotton. BT cotton has revolutionized it has completely changed the Indian seed market scenario. Export from India are limited to Myanmar and Korea, and trial permits are provided to few companies in Pakistan. More countries need to be mapped for the cotton and seed market. This stands huge potential. Then pulses, uh, India stands out to be world's largest producer, consumer, and importer of pulse crop. India needs to boost its domestic pulse production and become trade surplus country to address the pressing need of tackling malnutrition. The next one. The fourth one is the rice, uh, with 43 million hectare land engaged in rice production in India, tops the list of rice producing countries. India produced nearly 113 million tons in 2018-2019. I don't have the latest data, but I think that it has definitely gone up. Uh, Against against 112.9 million in 2020. I do not know. I have not cross-checked it 2021. It might have gone up. There needs an aggressive approach in tapping market through tie-ups with the local seed companies and ability to tap foreign markets in Far East Africa, Asia, USA, and Europe. The fifth one is the vegetable, uh, increasing uh, increasing vegetable consumption in developing countries is rapidly expanding the vegetable seed market in the world. India majorly exports vegetable seed of, okra and cucurbits, and there is other opportunities. Some of the organizations are working on that, and we expect some good outcome. Then forage. Next one, is giving uh, thanks to NSAI and International Seed Federation for for giving all the data. Many thanks to all of you. You can put forward your question in the message box, and I'll try to answer those. And if I have missed something, Dr. Pandey and Asimji can can do the value addition. Many thanks, Priyanka.
Thank you, Dr. Goswami. I would like to apprise that Dr. Goswami was not keeping sorry, sir. There was, I think, some technical issue. And Dr. Goswami very well explained about beautifully presented the stats in the Indian seeds market. He emphasized on the Prime Minister vision of making India, uh, for making India the seed hub of the world. And he emphasized on globalizing the Indian seed companies. He also talked about the IPR and building export clusters. And he emphasized how important it is for the Indian companies to invest in the R&D. And what the different potential crops for seed exports. Thank you, Dr. Goswami, once again. And with this, I pass on to the next speaker, Dr. L.K. Pandey. Dr. L.K. Pandey is a seed professional with vast experience of more than 3 decades in variegated roles such as hybrid seed production, quality management, export import, sales and marketing, supply chain management, business development, training and development of seed professionals, new business opportunities, etc. He has served as head of seed production as well as sales and marketing in leading seed companies of India. Besides handling his own entrepreneurial endeavor, Ananya Seeds Private Limited, he is advisor to many seed companies. His current passion is to mentor and coach young agripreneurs and startup businesses. So over to you, Dr. Pandey.
Thank you, Priyanka. Now you have to share my presentation also.
Yes, sir.
So I think Dr. Goswami had right notes, showing the potential of Indian seed industry uh, uh, in the world, and I think he has been at a very critical role as a executive director of uh, National Seed Association of India, and a lot of things happened during his tenure. And I know personally him that how much pain he has taken to work as a gelling agent or I mean levelizer between global seed companies and Indian seed companies. So a very right note you have given, Goswami sir. So I and I think I will start and will take care of few points which you have indicated. So next one, please. So basically, I prepared this small presentation uh, with the perspective of starters and students. So quickly, I will go with my basic learnings in the industry. I tell you that almost 32 years I spent in seed industry and worked with many companies. My own startup also. So now serving several companies, good companies. Uh, so I start everywhere with these few words like Subijam Sukshetre Jayate Sampadate. It means good quality of seed is sown in good field that yields in plenty. But I also try to add that it's not sufficient. Good timing is also important for good yield. So if even seed is good and everything is good, and you have missed the right season, so you may not get the good yield. Or if you are very early than the season, then again you are not going to get good yield. So that is very important, and this subject gives a lot of complaints and then explanation also for uh, seedmen like us. Uh, and seed, though it's a very small component of whole farming activity, cost wise as well as quantity wise, but its role is very crucial, very critical. And if we ignore this component in agriculture, so I think we cannot use potency of any other input. So for students, I would like to suggest, if someone asks you what is seed, so seed is a mature ovule consisting of an embryonic plant together with a store of food and all surrounded by protective coat. So and seed has been defined legally in Seed Act of uh, Indian Seed Act 1966. Anything, I mean, you can generalize it as anything which is used for a crop, growing crop. So that is a seed. It can be tuber, it can be cotton fiber seed, it can be fodder seed, it can be jute seed, tubers, bulbs, rhizomes, roots. So sometimes new students come, that potato is a seed. Yes, potato is a seed if you are going to this, for the sowing purpose, for the crop cultivation. Even nursery plants, grafts all these comes into seed category. Next one.
A moment, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very close to estimate of uh, Goswami sir. So he said 22,000 crore. I just guessed 20,000 crore. So almost I'm very close to him because he's a veteran. He knows much better than me. And vegetable seeds, I expect it is 6,000 crore business. And public sector, it's very important to understand uh, which sector is dominating. So public sector value wise, it's hardly 35% of total value. Yeah,
Just give me a moment, sir. I think so. Sorry for the glitch, sir.
I think Dr. Pandey is not audible.
yeah. This was from my side. So still 70% out of even instead of so much advancement, uh, still 70% saved seed is used in India, and only 30% is marketed. Still large part of industries are into unorganized and unaccounted, because if we travel in remote areas, we find that number of seed companies has been formed. Even old dealers, old distributors, they are coming up with new ventures, and they are starting packaging and selling. Of course they claim a certain percentage of market value, but after they are not very much structured. They may not be aligned as per seed rules in the country. uh, Even their R&D is very much questionable. So accordingly, I feel that more than 500 companies in India, only 20% may be having right kind of R&D infrastructure. 30% are just engaged in production and marketing, and still 50% they are just in trading, uh, trading ventures. Next, please. Yeah, yes, this one. So issues, I mean, when we are talking about trends and dynamics, so for me, seed industry as such is a its dynamism is in its DNA, and we understand, we feel that how much dynamism is it carries. So issue of marketing, if we try to understand, so I say everyone that if seed, you have to say that something is seed, so it has to be right quality seed at right time, at right price, and with right at right place and promotion. So so I think even right promotion, why I'm adding here, because we should not, our companies should not mislead. Sometime our communication is very ambiguous, and that may lead into cheating of farmers. So that may come under right kind of promotion. And so seed access, there was recent survey called Access to Seed Index, right? So so according to that, seed index is still top 10 companies of global seed industry. They are not able to meet even 10% of small and marginal farmers. It means 90% of small and marginal farmers are still facing the challenge of seed access. Whenever we start talking about seed industry, we immediately only top 10, 20 companies come into picture, and then we finish the discussion. But if we go to farmers and see their size, and also we will see that how much large companies, big seed companies, or biotechnology companies, GM companies, they are focusing on small and marginal farmers who are having very less resources. Next, please. So just for students, I have seen this kind of, evolution, this kind of, trend in technology of seeds. Earlier it was, started with mass selection, then you improve variety came, synthetics came, then hybrid seeds, and now GM seeds. And next is what I can call is designer seeds using, CRISPR technologies like that. I mean, you just tell me what kind of, composition of crop you want, what kind of color you want, maize, how many grains you want, red, blue, or yellow. We, our scientists, are able to, or will be able to give to customers. Next one. So this is, seed business process for students. I'm just trying to say that, of course, it starts from breeding, seed breeding, then that goes to seed multiplication, then processing. In between that takes, testing takes place, then packaging and distribution and sales. Ultimately, that reaches to farmer's hand, and he uses it, and ultimately he also brings back some feedback, and that feedback is used for improving the uh, product. So that's why I have tried to make it in a circular format. But every company, for every company, customer, or what you call customer, farmer, and quality has to be in the core. And whenever I talk about customer in seed industry, so we have dual kind of customers, two type of customers. One is customer, who is farmers, and another is customer's customer, means consumer, like housewives, like families who are consuming tomatoes, consuming vegetables, consuming food. So for seed company, direct customer is farmer who needs disease resistance, high yield, and early maturity crops, but ultimately he has to sell his seed, his crop uh, to market. So market needs good looking, with high protein, high vitamin, high composition, highly nutritious crops. So that is role of breeders is dual. I mean, they have to satisfy farmers as well as they have to satisfy uh, uh, consumers, and sometimes that conflicts takes place. So ultimately, he has to make a balance. So I would like to talk about dynamism of the seed industry. So as I told you that seed itself is a dynamic, and why dynamic? Because customers' needs keep changing as sociographical changes takes place, social changes takes place, family structure takes place, our profession changes, our food consumption pattern also changes. Uh, then forecasting has been great challenge for seed industry. What I have seen in 3-4 decades, uh, nothing is very firm kind of forecasting. So every time we have to use sometime our intuition, sometime gut feel. I mean mixed with forecasting on Excel sheet. So then I always suggest that our R&D, if any company wants to exceed, sustain, exceed customers, expectation, or succeed in make want to make it sustainable, then we need to proactive and R&D front. Why? What is proactiveness? That down the line 10 years, our breeders, our marketers, they must understand what kind of change is going to happen in the market. Even customers may not be knowing today, but our breeders, a seed man has to understand that due to social changes expected in next decade, next 1 decade, 2 decade, what kind of consumption pattern will be there, what kind of food will be required and in the market. So dynamic pricing, I sometimes though we try to fix it, but we need to be very dynamic sometime to avoid any kind of inventory built up in the company. And timely availability is very crucial, very critical. And this timely availability sometimes linked with kind of monsoon pattern. But even before monsoon is coming and we have to place our seed. I think Asim sir can very clearly tell that how much paddy seeds they are placing here and there, and sometimes they have to take it back because of failures of season, not of company. So and also because it is complaints due to variable performance, which is not I mean uh, assigned only for the quality of the seed, but the like sowing time, monsoon failure, or agronomical practices which is not in control of seed companies. So even those kind of complaints we have to manage. So business decision has to be very fast, and this is the difference how private seed companies are becoming more and more sustainable uh, compared to any bureaucratic kind of company. Next, please. So upcoming trends of seed industry, just I will read these tweakers. So companies with core competency has sustainability, and why I say because now these companies have identified, they have rationalized products and crops, which crop they can excel and which crop is not their cup of tea. So sourcing, outsourcing, custom production, and development of vendors to meet their requirement. So that is the norm of the day. So putting yourself in one core area and depending on others, on certain areas. So this is how your business can be more sustainable. Supply chain restructuring is taking place, and thanks to new era in last I think 5-10 years. A lot of aggregators have come, lot of AI-based technology, digitalization of agriculture, which is changing the supply chain model, which is changing even our reach, our outreach to farmers in terms of our product, in terms of our delivery of seeds. So these are and then you have seen that many companies have come up who are not expecting that farmers will come to dealers shop, but they before that they start thinking some companies are there who are reaching to farmers doorstep. So certainly farmers will have more competitive advantage in such a situation. Seed replacement rate, which is very indicator of development of any seed industry in any country, in crop wise also. So SRR is improving, I think crop wise. So but still there are major crops SRR is very low, like wheat and paddy. Uh, Farmers are ready. This is my observation that farmers are ready to pay anything if they are getting value for their money. So it's not that they want to purchase cheap seed. They want good and effective and high performing seeds, whatever price they need to pay. And this and information explosion era made our customers very much aware. Even sometime I feel that our marketing people, our sales guys face a lot of challenges that sometimes customers are much more informed than themselves, than these company people. So new technological tools will resolve more pain points, which I understand that the seed access will increase. Execution excellence is the norm of the day for every company to sustain. Big data and data analytics is going to help in forecasting and prediction of markets. Now social media marketing tools They are helping a lot in communication, marketing communication. I think Asim sir will accept it. And customer outreach programs have really become very easy, much easier than 30 years back, which we were facing. And e-commerce will certainly grow day by day. Next one. So impact of seed industry, how seed industry has impacted. Certainly it has impacted, rural livelihood, increase income, improved quality of, living standard of farmers. I mean, if wherever we go, even for seed production, so those seed producing villages have improved a lot. I mean, education has improved, lifestyle has changed, and even consumer goods have reached. They are much better than other areas who are not into seed production. So these examples you can yourself can see, and many villages are producing seeds for last 3-4 decades continuously, and they have improved their economy. So, Swami sir indicated that India can become, seed production hub. I totally agree. And India has, as 14 agroclimatic zones. So Indian climates, it can compare with other part of globe in its different kind of, climatic zones. So most of crops we can produce here, we can produce here due to low cost of production, low labor cost, cheap labor available here in India. So we can give better quality at cheaper rate. So certainly I think India is a upper hand and becoming seed production hub for the globe. So skill sets, I think even most of farmers they are doing seed production. You will find that they talk so much technical terms, and I mean, and very scientific and very logical. I mean, what is cross pollination? What is self pollination? What is emasculation? And how to avoid any kind of cross fertilization mixture. So all these things. I mean, we have become very comfortable to get such kind of farmers. And Indian seed sector in this pandemic also it has shown that it can support India to become source for global nutritional food security. Next one. So certain challenges are there, which are like variability in performance due to microclimatic variations, or agronomical practices variation, erratic monsoon, climate changes. Climate change itself is a very big topic, and really it's directly linked with seed and seed development. So the breeder has a challenge that he should foresee that what will be the what will be climate of particular region down the line 5 years or 10 years. So he need to develop that kind of varieties. Uh, then soil is already a challenge in our country. So sometime water availability or unsuitable water is also affecting crops. Uh, then demand and supply fluctuation, that is dharma of the day in the seed industry. Next one, Priyanka.
Is it visible, sir?
Yeah. So new trend setter. I again repeated that big data aggregation model, enhancing seed access of every nook and corner, use of interactive digital tools, and digital transformation, traceability of seed quality. We have started talking about QR code on seed packets, and very soon this is going to happen in industry, so that customers can immediately know the origin and source of the particular seed and the quality of the seed, even who produced this. So this kind of changes are happening, and lot of satellite imagery, drone technology, app-based monitoring, reporting system is happening across the industry. I think that is making business more predictable, more sustainable, and quality can be assured in many times better than earlier. Next one. So thank you so much to Priyanka, team, and to all my audience. Thank you, Asim sir, for patient listening. Thank you, Goswami sir, for giving a good start for this discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey, sir. Dr. Pandey very scientifically defined the term seed. He emphasized on the need of the R&D in the Indian seed sector and what are the different issues of marketing seed, the evolutionary trends of technology leading to GM and designer seeds, which are actually the customization of seeds according to the customer requirement. And he explained how 90% of the small and marginal farmers' demands are not met by the top 10 seed companies, and there lies the huge scope for Indian seed companies, small startups to come up. He made us aware with the upcoming trends of the seed industry, the digitization of agriculture, the new trending support of the supply chain, the change in the supply chain model, and the sustainability of the seed business, and what are the challenges impacting the seed industry. With this, now I request third speaker, Mr. Asim Sharma, to take on. Mr. Sharma has 31 plus years of experience in the seed industry, has worked in various Indian conglomerates and multinational companies. He started his career with an MNC, Pioneer Seeds, and then moved to Cosmoplangene with a very challenging role of setting up the seed business of a diversified Cosmo group. Thereafter, he moved to a fertilizer giant group, Zuari Chambal, for another challenge of helping set up their distribution and marketing channel for the seeds business. He is currently with Sriram Bioseed Genetics, a division of DCM Sriram Limited, and is heading the cotton vertical based out of Hyderabad. So over to you, Mr. Sharma. Give me a moment. I'll just share the presentation.
I'll do that, Priyanka. Thank you very much for the introduction. Let me do it. Can you exit?
Sure, sir.
Let me try anyway. Visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much, and good afternoon to all the participants. Dr. Goswami and Dr. Pandey have very eloquently described the seed industry. So being the last speaker on this panel, I think my job has been made easy and difficult at the same time because most of the things have been covered, so I'll be able to skip a few slides. However, there might be some contradictions in terms of numbers, but as Dr. Goswami and Dr. Pandey mentioned, this is a very unorganized industry per se, so the figures always tend to be different for different people. So I'll just take a couple of slides on an introduction. We are all working for the farmers, right? In the seed business, they are our most valuable customers and the most valuable citizens. So this is a quote from Thomas Jefferson, made a long time ago, but stands true even today. These are the people who feed the world. So going by that logic and being a seed man, it is our responsibility to respect the farmer and provide him with all the wherewithal to sustain, develop, grow, and feed the nations. My parent organization is DCM Shriram Limited. It's a very old group which started in 1889 under Sir Shriram. We are a 8,500 crore group, out of which about 75% of the business is primarily agri related. So uh, we are very proud of the fact that we are very well entrenched as well as linked very strongly to the farming community in India. We have diversified businesses other than agriculture, which could be textile, chemicals, sugar, fans, sewing machines, electric motors, amongst others. And we have been associated with various activities related to agriculture for a very long time. Shriram Bioseed Genetics as a part of the DCM group. We started in 1992 as an American company, as a small partner in the American company. 2002 onwards, we took it over and christened it as Shriram Bioseed Genetics. It has gone through a few transformations during this period. As Dr. Goswami was mentioning, there's a lot of potential for Indian seed companies to operate internationally. We are proud that as an Indian company, we are an Indian multinational operating in various countries in South and Southeast Asia. We're the first company to be recognized by the technology development aspect. These parts have already been taken care of by my previous speakers. The growth rate of this Indian seed market is pegged at about 6.8% of CAGR for the period of 20 to 25. As mentioned earlier, we are about fifth largest globally in terms of business, of what anywhere between 22,000 to about 35,000, depending on various estimates that come through. And as Dr. Pandey mentioned, there are about 700 plus companies in India, but unfortunately, most of them are in the trading business, and with serious investments and propensity to research, those probably could be counted on your two hands. The key economic factors which have been shaping the agriculture industry are basically the population growth. It is hopefully coming under control, but we are way more populated than what is healthy for a nation. Rising incomes in India are changing the food habits of people. People are, instead of carbohydrates in filling their stomachs, they're looking at more of nutrition based foods. The yield growths are taking over. There are good supply and demand relationships. Biotechnology is a big tool which has been a boon for the ag industry, because the cycles of development of hybrids has considerably shortened over the last 5 to 10 years. I'd like to talk more about the enablers. So, there is a lot of dynamism and varied requirements, primarily because of the varied climates that we have. 40 zones is what I heard Dr. Pandey say. Because of which there is a very specific requirement of the suitable seeds for the farmers to, economically be independent from their income. The global climate is shortening a lot of product life cycles. When I started my career in the seed business, it used to be anywhere between 7 to 10 years for a product to be phased out. But given the current structures and the development in agriculture and research and biotechnology interventions, this product life cycle is rapidly coming down, and about now it seems that it is probably between 3 to 5 years at best. So, like they used to say, that if you want to reach somewhere faster, you've got to run faster. Today, that idiom seems to have changed to if you need to stay where you are, you've got to run very fast. So that's the kind of changes that are taking place. The as most of the people related to agriculture in this group, this WebEx are concerned, I think I'm sure all of you know that the Indian land holding is the smallest probably in a reasonably growing economy. 86% of our farmers own less than 2.5 acres or 1.08 hectares to be exact. So that's a very large number, and because of which there are a lot of issues about IPR and PVP, which Dr. Pandey and Dr. Goswami alluded to a little while ago. So a lot is possible. There's a lot of scope which can be developed further. As mentioned earlier, there are lots of farm-saved seed which is used even now, especially in paddy and wheat. There is a lot of technology which is available to help us improve the seed quality. The enforcement of the seed quality parameters primarily is a challenge because instead of being a facilitator, the institutes existing today in the country, being a state subject, there are so many institutes which are proving to be more of a hindrance rather than a facilitator. If I may go to the extent of saying that they are more of a nuisance value, would not be very far from the truth. But unfortunately, under the present circumstances and the Seed Act 1966, which in itself gives you, the antiquity of the laws that we are trying to follow even today. So lot needs to be done, but we are getting there, albeit a little slowly. We need to pick up speed and change some of the things. This has been discussed, so I'll skip this. Similarly for this. Coming to the strengths and weaknesses of the seed industry per se. Like we have been saying, major states are blessed with lots of natural resources. That's a strength. The diversity in the agroclimatic zones is a big plus for us. The domestic consumption and the changing trends, both are a strength and an opportunity. Labor is available in plenty, although because of the movement of people or resourceful people from villages to cities to improve their lifestyles or income groups. There's a lot of change happening, but still, even now, there's plenty of labor available, which helps us in terms of being more productive in the agriculture side. Sorry, somebody said something. Okay. Now, coming to the weaknesses, like I said, 86% of the farmers have less than 2.5 acres of land. Now, this is not economically viable. And, when we look at the resources that are employed, including the family, the children, the wife, everybody, the economics is something which needs to be worked upon for the farming sector. In the sense that as a seed company, we have a larger responsibility, and as an agriculture seed man, we have a larger responsibility of providing the farmers with the right kind of inputs, be it seeds, that of course is the building block, the starting point of the agriculture cycle, but inclusive of fertilizers and pesticides and everything, so that the income levels of the farmers grow up. Lack of infrastructure, transportation, etc., is another area where we need to improve upon. There's, especially in case of vegetable seeds, there's, because of the perishability of the product, the storage facilities become very, very important, and that is a very limited infrastructure that we have presently available. Lack of mechanization is a weakness, but primarily, again, because it is interlinked with the first point that we have very small land holdings. So mechanization definitely needs to be worked upon, but not in the scale of what Europe and the US and the West is doing, because our land holdings are so small and our ability to cultivate the arable land is limited. Hence, the mechanization formulations have to change. We have to have domestically adaptive kind of technology to be brought in to help the farmers reduce the cost of manpower. I'll first take the threats and then come to opportunities. Like I said, the price and crop regulations are a threat, although Dr. Pandey mentioned that we should be reasonable as seed operators and seed men. But in spite of everything, if the farmer is not getting value for money, he was anyway not going to help grow your business. But then the price structure and the regulations must be market driven. We very strongly believe in that. Regulations per se have more of a nuisance value rather than being productive in most cases. I will not generalize this statement, but in most cases they are counterproductive to the the objective that they have been done with. Operational costs are higher, markets are unorganized, linkages with the markets are happening, but on a very, very small scale at this point in time. The fluctuations are tremendous. Now, for example, if I take comparison of the milk industry or the dairy industry, for example, the value realized by the farmers in the dairy sector realize about 75 to 80% of the value that the consumers are paying. Whereas in the top segment, or let's say the tomato, okra, the potato segment or the cereal segment, this boils down to just about 20 to 30% at best. If I'm paying 100 rupees as a consumer going to a mall or a sabzi mandi or a normal vegetable shop, I pay 100 rupees. The farmer who produced it would be getting anything between 20 to 30% of that revenue that I am paying to the vendor. So those kind of things are a little critical. So we need to, look at some of these threats. However, the opportunities are tremendous. With the rising income across the country, especially in India, people have, like I said, moved from carbohydrates, filling their stomachs, to looking at the nutritional value. So those kind of changes, people are eating more vegetables. You go to the villages, it used to be kanda ke saath roti khana, chawal dal khana, those kind of things used to be the norm, the staple food. Today, you look at, there are lots of kitchen packs being sold for vegetable seeds, which has just about 10 seeds of okra, 10 seeds of bottle gourd and stuff like that. So people are moving from, filling their stomachs to getting into a more healthier diet of consuming nutrition. The initiatives by the government have also been appreciated in terms of, especially in terms of the DBT process that the government has instituted for a transfer of funds. There was a huge leakage in that sector, which now seems to be being the cap being tightened on that. So those kind of things are definitely big opportunities. And as Dr. Pandey mentioned, the e-commerce sectors are definitely helping us reach out to the farmers with the right kind of product for the right kind of price, etc. So those are multiple opportunities that we can look at going forward. So this is just I'll give you a few seconds to read through it, but this is basically what I've been talking about in terms of the description of various parameters that we have. One thing that I would like to highlight here is that the technology that is available today for development of the seeds or hybrids or varieties in almost all the crops is tremendous. The technology has given us, as mentioned earlier, GM cotton, for example, has revolutionized, as Dr. Goswami put it, revolutionized the farming activity for the cotton crop. It is, even for the industry, it is one of the top contributors to the top line of any organization worth its salt. And survival of most of the companies without cotton as part of their portfolio becomes very difficult. Now, similarly, there are lots of traits which still need to be brought onto the shelf for the farmer to choose in terms of value additions. Corn could be more rich in vitamins. Fodder could be rich in calcium. It could be lots of technology is possible. Just one example of that technology would be tomato as a fruit. The shelf life is so small that the farmer, if he doesn't sell it after plucking it, if he doesn't sell it within the next 48 hours or 60 hours at best, the value deteriorates very quickly. Now, technology has made it possible, and we as an organization, Shriram Bioseed, have developed a technology where the shelf life increases from 3 days to it goes to up to 30 days. So you don't need to pluck. If the price is not right in the market, you don't need to pluck that fruit. Let it be on the plant. It will not over mature. When the price is right, you can pluck it, take it to the mandi and earn some good money. So that's how technology involvement is there. People in agriculture feel that agriculture is a very mundane kind of an industry. It's not tech driven. It's a fallacy. People who are in the business know this, but the general population across the country finds it very difficult to believe that there could be so much of technology involved in the agriculture sector. Thank you very much. And Priyanka and Agriculture Skill Council of India, I'd like to thank you for making me a part of this panel.
Thank you,
very
sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Sharma introduced us with Shriram Bioseed Genetics. He emphasized on the role biotechnology is playing in the seed market, and he described how product life cycle has shortened over the years. He very beautifully presented the SWOT analysis of the seeds industry and the underlying opportunities with regard to local demands and the opportunity for entrepreneurship development in the rural and suburban areas. He also talked about the value additions required and the lots of technical interventions going on at various levels, one of them being for increasing the shelf life. And thank you, sir, for your insights. Now we are open for the question and answer session. So I'll just compile few of the questions that we have received. The first question is, how did the industry cope with the challenge of production and timely delivery of seeds to the farmers during the pandemic? Mr. Sharma, would you like to take this question?
Sure. Fortunately, our industry works in a lot of isolation. So, in the sense that we are not bogged down by the city culture of having too many people working in, the fields. So, from that standpoint, it was not a challenge. The challenge was basically bringing it to the plants and processing it. We had to be extra careful in terms of social distancing and masking and sanitizing hands, etc., etc. That was more easier said than done, because the environment within a processing plant is such that you cannot avoid being in close proximity of other people. But we were able to manage, and I think most of the industry, the colleagues that I have spoken to in the last year when the pandemic was at its peak, I think most of the industries survived without any major hassles of infections, thanks to the proactive dissemination of knowledge by the governments across the country, etc. So, although it was a challenge, but that's the nature of the industry and the human behavior, that you adapt to, the necessities very quickly. So we were actually, and I speak for not only Bioseed, but a few other companies as well, that what we were supposed to do in the month of June, we had done it by the middle of May. So in the anticipation of lockdowns and stuff like that, we were extra efficient, and which actually has set new benchmarks for seed industries going forward. That if we could do it in that particular year in a particular environment, why can't we do it in a general? So, in conclusion, basically, the industry was able to manage pretty well.
Great, sir. Uh, Anything else that Dr. Pandey or Dr. Goswami would like to add?
That's okay. I think, it replies the question.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ajinkya?
Yeah, rightly, explained by Asim sir. I remember that, in Delhi, Joint Secretary himself started, taking weekly meetings, and and he assured every seed company also that no seed truck should be stopped anywhere. So that was the first assurance, and actually I realized that happened, and that helped a lot. And sometimes, because first pandemic, there was a lot of confusion, no background, no history, so people were not knowing what to do. So I think, sometimes plants were not allowed to open. Sometimes, our trucks were being stopped. So we assured as industry that, and I can say that agriculture ministry did a lot, and they were sitting at every day at up to 8 p.m. And we had one toll-free number also, that any truck, if we stop by anywhere, please call directly to this number and they will be helped. So
Yeah,
that
sir. The
kind
ministry
of,
has played a very supportive role.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I could see a one hand raise up. Ajinkya, Mr. Ajinkya? Mr. Ajinkya, you want to ask any question? Your voice is not audible. Okay, coming to the next question. This pertains to different roles present in a seed organization and how one can prepare for that. Any three of you can take that question.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Ajinkya, you want to ask any question?
Hello. I had a
Yes.
query.
We
Hello.
can hear you. We can hear you. Tell me. Hello.
Ajinkya, your voice is breaking. I think you can drop a message in the chat box and we can ask that question because you're not audible. So we'll move on to the question. What are the different roles present in a seed organization and how one can prepare for that?
I think the right person to answer would be Ashimji.
Asim sir.
Sure.
Okay. So, there are different aspects of working in a seed company. Anybody with a research background in the industry would require essentially qualified postgraduates, I would say, in the research function, starting from MScs and PhDs. Then you would come to production, where the basic agriculture requirement would be there, since I am a member of the qualification packs as well. So I can say for sure that there are lots of such requirements which are mandatory. In the private business as well, in private industry as well, you would require a minimum of graduation in agriculture kind of degree to work in the production. Next would be processing. Now, processing would involve a little bit of technical know-how in terms of being at least an ITI in wherever the machine operations are concerned. Otherwise, a general management capability, not a degree. I'm differentiating that by emphasizing it. The management capabilities would come in very handy in terms of managing the operations. Finally, coming to the final interface with the farmers, which is the sales and marketing. You could start with a BSc agriculture at various levels. There are lots of hierarchies which are available. I would not go into the designations because each organization would have their own designations. But, in some of the states where agriculture is, in terms of education, is not very strong, so the non-agriculture graduates can also look forward to working in the agri sector, but primarily the requirement in the sales and marketing would start with a minimum of a BSc agriculture, and would an add-on of an MBA or MSc would also be given a priority. So that in a nutshell is how the opportunity and the kind of organization, depending on the scale of business, there is a lot of requirement of feet on the ground for any company to sustain and grow, because of primarily the interface that one has to have mandatorily with the farmers in their fields, in collective functions or activities that one does to promote their plans.
Thank you, sir. We have already breached the time, so I will take one last question. How does the industry look into the recruitment of the female candidates in input industry? Quick answer, sir, from all three of you.
I think Kalyan sir is more neutral.
No. Basically, I am more appropriate for policy intervention and, intellectual property right. As far as, all the administrative and HR related issues are there, Asimji is number one, and Dr. Pandey can give the insight, you are the right person.
If I may just add on here, there are lots of opportunities for what did you say? The ladies, right?
Yes.
What term did you use?
Female candidates.
Female candidate.
Female candidates. Okay. So I would like to be politically correct here. There's a lot of scope, specifically in the R&D facility, biotechnology. There's ample. I mean, we have in these particular two departments, we would be employing about 70% of the population of these departments would be ladies. Having said that, that has been the traditional part. For the last 3-4 years, in the sales and marketing, there have been a lot of influx of female candidates into the sales and marketing functions as well. Because in most states, let me be a little apolitical here, or go out on a limb. There are certain states which are known for their safety for women, so across all categories. So there, the movement of female candidates, as far as sales and marketing is concerned, that's also increasing. And we are seeing, if you look at the percentage growth, it would be tremendous. Although in absolute numbers, the numbers are still not something to write home about, but it is growing and the trend is picking up. So we've had a discussion internally in terms of looking at female candidates in the sales and marketing functions also. So the trend is definitely there. The opportunity is there. You've got to be a little, adventurous for the female candidates who are able to move around freely, traveling alone. So most of the organizations will take care in terms of safety, etc., provide them with some additional benefits because of the nature of the industry in terms of traveling hours, traveling time required, the markets that they visit, etc. So most of the organizations go one step ahead of providing those facilities. But like I said, the trend is picking up and it will grow. I'm sure about that.
Thank you, sir. Anything you would like to add, Dr. Pandey?
Yeah. So my experience is same as the same, say. So I think, I have seen in past 3 decades, how this percentage has grown up, and I have seen many such candidates. They are crossing that roof ceiling. So I don't think there is any kind of stopping there. And many roles in sales and marketing, product development, of course, biotechnology labs and other things are there. But in field also, I find there are girls who are coming up. I remember in 2010 when I recruited 4 girls from Vemnicom in 2010. And of course, internally, I had some issue with discussion, but I was able to convince the management that this is the time we have to, this is kind of inflection point, and we have to start thinking. And I can, say here that, wherever girls are there, we have good culture, good, performance level, and certainly they are more dependable. They are more dependable. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We now conclude the session. My heartfelt
wanted to
thanks
say.
to all the speakers who
Yeah,
took out time to share their thoughts and
Priyanka.
experience. Yeah,
Kalyan sir will say.
Priyanka,
yes, sir.
let me add to Asimji's, reply and Dr. Pandey's inputs. I found that in the policy, a lot of girls are coming and they are doing better job than the guys. And the attrition level is very low for the girls, If they get a good atmosphere, good, growth opportunity, the girls are really, they're sticking to the job, doing good job. See, like plant protection and varieties, like it's a government organization. Once upon a time in 2002, 2003, I used to see no lady, like in your language. Okay, now lot of girls are there. Same like National Seed Association, the females are majority, and they're doing good job. Even in intellectual property right, mostly the mostly the techno-legal field, lot of girls are there. I cannot comment on supply chain or sales and marketing. So I go by Ashimji and Pandeyji's, like inputs. But there is opportunity for that. There's definitely good opportunities for the female candidates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With this, we are concluding this session. My heartfelt thanks to all the speakers who took out time to share their thoughts and experiences. I also thank the audience for their participation. And thank you all, and be safe, be healthy, and mask up as COVID is not yet over. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.